Good afternoon, everybody. This is Carl Putty from Miovision. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm joined here by my colleague Eamon Baker from Signal Control Products and Scott Morris. We're just going to wait for a couple more folks to join and then we'll be on our way. So yeah, bear with us, please. Thanks very much. All right, I think we've got pretty much everybody in. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. I know we're in these strange and difficult times, so hope everyone's staying safe and keeping well. I know it's probably a bit of a different work environment than everyone's used to, but hopefully these webinars and things will help us sort of combine together and be able to share some interesting news. So today we'll only take probably about a half an hour of your time. Not going to spend too long. Should be pretty brief. Just wanted to let everyone know if there's any questions, you can please add those into the chat window on the GoToWebinar invite. Hopefully everyone's able to do that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We'll be happy to get to as many as we possibly can. And yeah, just kicking off today, we're here to talk about our recent success on our PennDOT Bulletin 15 approval. That's a provisional approval on the Bulletin 15 page. I'm just going to skip to the next slide here. So joining me today, we have Scott Morris from Pathmaster and Eamon Baker from Signal Control Products. Scott, Eamon, would you like to just briefly introduce yourselves quick? Thanks.
Sure, folks. So I'm Scott Morris, I'm the Systems and Business Development Manager at Pathmaster. We'll be taking care of the western portion of PA, and so if you have any needs for Miovision stuff, please give us a call.
And hey, everybody. Of course, as soon as we start the webinar, I've got someone mowing my yard, so hopefully everyone can hear me. But Eamon Baker, Signal Control Products, sales and any kind of special projects, working with PennDOT, anything like that. Feel free to give us a call as well. We do Eastern and Central Pennsylvania, so districts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So thanks.
Great. And myself, Carl Putty, I cover about 10 other states in addition to PA. I'm an enterprise sales executive for Miovision and cover basically all cities above 75,000 and work with engineering firms, DOTs, and sort of that more top-down approach. So yeah, I think we can begin. So just to let you all know, we'll kind of take you through how this started. So back in late 2018, we filed our application for the Bulletin 15 QPL. I guess that led us to about April 2019, we actually got a provisional approval for the, or an experimental approval for the Bulletin 15, where we basically had our equipment in the PennDOT lab there. They were doing a number of tests internally. I know they had the camera up on the 6th floor, aimed out a window, so it was doing some interesting detection and things from quite far away. That led us to actually begin the field trial, which took place in Mount Joy an intersection there, and I believe that was installed in around September. So again, a lot of testing and whatnot that was taking place by PennDOT central office. After that, we actually ended up with a full provisional approval status as of March 24th, 2020. So just recently, fairly recently, we've had our approval upgraded there, and that has basically led to a great relationship with the central office at PennDOT. It's been a pleasure working with those folks. Just wanted, I'm not sure how many of you are on, but Matt Diapoli, Ben Flanagan, Anthony Chioda, and Steve Galt, we really appreciate your efforts and being so quick in getting back to us on these things. And yeah, it's been a really great experience working with you to get approval on Bulletin 15. So we're really excited. The approval currently is for our video detection system called TrafficLink. PennDOT also did evaluate a couple other things in addition to just the video detection capabilities, which we'll take you through today. So our detection is powered by artificial intelligence. They did look at the TrafficLink portal as well, which is a software application which we'll discuss some of the functionality there. In terms of offerings of ATSPMs, we do have multimodal lane-by-lane turning movement counts, which are true turning movement counts. The group also actually looked at some of our safety analytics, which we got some great feedback from PennDOT on. And this is the type of process we really love working with agencies and strategic development partners on. Is we want to build products that are, very effective for you. And any feedback we get on different pieces of our product, we're happy to take in and really develop around. So that's really appreciated. We do also have a turnkey communications piece, which we'll touch on. And then there is the ability for us to support any adaptive project, and then also RTSP feed integration for video streaming. So this was essentially the stack of software that was evaluated by PennDOT, PennDOT Central Office. And I guess we can dive right into the kind of the three pillars about Miovision and how we're thinking about smart intersections and smart cities. We have three kind of core pillars that we stick to on our ITS product line. We want everything to have a really open architecture. We want an ecosystem approach, so incubating the ability for all sorts of stakeholders to ingest and get value out of the data. And the third pillar is really kind of adapted after the smartphone. So we'll talk about the open architecture first. Really, we're totally built for compatibility. There's no vendor lock-in. We want our system to work with that big investment of our infrastructure that you've put out there. We know in the state like Pennsylvania, where there's all of these townships, counties, regional DOTs, all of these different players, we know the infrastructure that you have is not going to be 100% synonymous, and we want to be able to make sure that we can connect all of those different pieces of infrastructure that you may have, and we're totally agnostic to those types of hardware that you may have. On the ecosystem approach, so Miovision, our team, we're data junkies. We're a data-driven company. We understand the value of providing data from a number of different aspects, and we want that to be a core pillar of our platform. We want to be able to provide value to people like the contractors, signal maintenance and operations folks, in an easy way that they can get things like alerts and understand how to effectively manage their network of signals. We want the data to be able to go to engineering firms, so whether that's turning movement count data, ATSPMs that engineering firms can use to leverage and retime sections of corridor. So that's a huge piece of our approach. We want that valuable data to go to all these different stakeholders, and not just limit at, you know, the benefits of video detection for traffic operations folks. So if there's planning folks that are interested in turning movement counts to model where to put new bike lanes, add pedestrian crossings, that's something we try to make synonymous as well. And then with the new addition of our safety metrics, there comes another agency or another group of people that have an interest related to safety. So whether they're Vision Zero folks or Towards Zero Death folks looking at optimizing safety and understanding those types of metrics, we want everyone to be able to really understand the power of an ecosystem, and at no additional cost, to get access to all those different users, whether it be through the TrafficLink platform itself or through connected RESTful data APIs. The third pillar is the smartphone model. So what we've kind of modeled our hardware off of is the fact that we want a software-defined piece of hardware that can tackle a number of different things, similarly to how your smartphone works. So your smartphone is one device that kind of replaces your ability to have flashlights, to have a calculator, to have a bank book that you carry around, even keys these days. Smartphones can unlock doors. We want our single set of TrafficLink hardware to be software defined in the sense that we can provide a number of different pieces to help your infrastructure, whether that be, you know, traditionally replacing loops for detection, whether that be count collection, using it to understand travel times, to understand your time sync and resync your signals. We offer all these different applications and different functionality in our hardware. So we're trying to turn the single intersection to have one piece of hardware that does, you know, a plethora of different things. So those are just the three pillars around Miovision and kind of how we're treating our hardware. I'll now go into the actual hardware itself. This is the hardware that was installed in both the PennDOT Central Lab and also at the intersection of their evaluation. We have 4 physical components here, and then we also have a software platform that runs off of these on the back end. The first device that we'll touch on is the Miovision SmartLink device. We also have the SmartSense and the SmartView 360. The SmartLink device is really our turnkey communications cell modem, but it's also a data aggregation device. So in addition to providing that connectivity and running your ability to look at detection, the SmartLink can also be used completely on its own. So this can be used as a turnkey 4G LTE connected device to get communications out to your cabinet. It integrates with a number of devices in the cabinet. So we're not just looking at high-res SPAT data from the controller. We're able to look at the MMU, conflict monitor, understand voltages from UPS backup batteries, even wire in through the GPIO block that we have available to look at things like door alarms or other types of alarms, so that we can generate cabinet health and monitoring metrics for those folks. This device also is very helpful in integrating to your existing network. Let's say you have a tremendous amount of detection deployed, but you don't have a communications network to leverage that. We can actually use this device to integrate with your existing signals, provide communications, pull all that detection, whether it be from loops, pucks, existing video equipment, whatever those devices may be, and actually return and generate automated traffic signal performance measures out of that device, and leverage that existing infrastructure that, you know, your agency's already spent quite a large amount of money on. So that device also integrates with our SmartSense device. So it basically has connected secure communications back to our back to our Amazon Web Services Enterprise Cloud. The SmartSense device is really what runs our traffic AI and our machine learning computer at the intersection. In the SmartSense device, we have 2 NVIDIA graphics processing units. About 50% of that power is currently being used. We have the ability to actuate the signals over SDLC, hardwire GPIO serial to your controller, or ABCD interface if that exists. There's a LED display on the device, and we also support up to 2 cameras per intersection. And typically we find those are just PoE ports that the cameras connect to over a shielded Cat5 e-cable, for example. Typically we get away with about 1 camera at an intersection, so that will be anywhere about 150 to 175 feet. And then for the much larger intersections, we can put 2 cameras on the diagonal, which both plug into this single SmartSense device. And then from there, we actuate the signals directly to the controller. So that's a bit on the hardware that PennDOT themselves evaluated and gave us approval for. So yes, traditional video detection equipment. But we'll start going through some of the differentiators and some of the differences that Miovision's offering in this market. So the next sort of piece is our software application called TrafficLink. This is the connected portal where we're trying to derive all of these software-defined applications and really turn our system into software-defined hardware. So the current applications that are supported today, we kind of already touched on a few of these in terms of benefits for signal maintenance and operations folks. Not only do we get them connectivity to their signals, but they're able to generate alerts via SMS or text to understand exactly what is going wrong at the intersection, whether that be the signals are in flash, the backup batteries are on, the cabinet doors are open, all of these different types of things. So we provide value there. We do your traditional detection out of ground. In terms of data, we're collecting a tremendous amount of data from the actual controller and devices in the cabinet as well. We can also provide signal performance measures, which are pretty big investment from a lot of agencies these days because there is such a vast amount of connected network and there is a lot of existing detection deployed. Signal performance measures can be used to optimize those corridors and find bottlenecking and understand where congestion is occurring and what might be causing those in terms of those specific movements. So we do provide a very in-depth portal that goes through those performance measures. As well, we have recently launched the first set of our safety metrics and safety measures. What those are comprised of are vehicle red light running metrics and also pedestrian compliance metrics. So those are new that Miovision's launched just this year. We're also able to provide travel time data. We do that over unique Wi-Fi MAC address capture. So that's how we're collecting that information. And that comes standard with any Miovision deployment. You do get that travel time probe and antenna, which can be deployed throughout your network. Some of the more forward-thinking integrations that we're working on, we currently do support central management system integration with pretty much any central system that's in existence today. So we can act as that sort of base communications piece and layer to your central management system and feed all of those important pieces of information back to your CMS, whether that's Centrax or MaxView or Transparity or whatever these systems may be. We're able to work and integrate with those systems. In terms of adaptive signal technology, adaptive traffic control, we do also support as the core piece of detection for those systems. So we do have a number of partnerships and things we're exploring there, and projects where we've worked with specific adaptive traffic technology to make those bridges and make those projects complete. For some of those further out safety measures and being able to really address the safety market in terms of conflict analysis and near miss type metrics, we are working with some groups to develop ways to ingest this data on a more readily available basis. And then further down the line, we do have some things that are, we've heard from the market. These are very interesting, more so around automation of summarizing and quantifying results in terms of emissions and things from signal performance measures. We are looking at a number of pilots for things like passive pedestrian detection as well. So that's all something that's coming down the line. I guess we can now touch on kind of why Miovision's hardware is a bit different and what kind of sets us apart from some of the other providers out there. In terms of the back-end processing, there's a lot of buzz in the industry about artificial intelligence and what that actually means. Miovision has a big luxury in our court. We've had the Scout camera system that has been deployed over 60 to 70 odd countries around the world. We've collected about I think at least 7 billion vehicles, close to 1 billion pedestrians and cyclists. And we really treat that artificial intelligence backbone similar to how the quantitative hedge fund market or commodity traders treat that, is that data is your key. Data is your answer. You need to understand all of these historical trends to play the stock market and to play trading and brokering on commodities. So we kind of have taken a similar approach, and we have used all of this data from all these different countries and all these different intersections around the world to really develop and understand what vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, and all these different modes of transportation look like, not only in normal conditions, but in all types of lighting conditions. And the power of your AI is really, can only be as good as your data. So we have a huge amount of data that goes into our traffic AI, and that's what allows us to differentiate all these different classifications of vehicles. You can see on this slide here, we're actually able to identify individual pedestrians, and we're not just doing cluster summarizations. We're actually tracking individuals and their entire movements throughout the intersection. So this really helps us in our ability to look at the multimodal aspect and complete streets, as well as it really helps us to properly provide true turning movement counts in a multimodal fashion, because we're tracking the individuals all the way through the movements. We're not just estimating a percentage of those that may be going through. We're not estimating any of that, those types of movements. And then in terms of video detection plus, we're not just a detection system that has a back-end software portal that is used for configuration. We want to be able to do a number of different things. So we're looking at actuation, yes, of course. We're looking at continuous counts, multimodal counts, lane by lane counts. We do have the safety layer that we briefly touched on. We're able to provide a number of ATS-PMs as well, and then also integrate in different ways that are of value to different agencies. So using a camera, yeah, you may have a traffic camera, but then on the next pole over, you may have one for CCTV or surveillance or security. So we can actually splice off those individual RTSP feeds and feed those into a video management system to help some of those other agencies extract value out of the same deployment that we are using to tackle, detection or look at safety or some of these other things. So that's just a bit on our hardware and what we're offering. I do have some examples of projects across across North America. We'll start out just looking at North America. There's roughly 3,500 intersections with Miovision. PA specifically, since our approval on Bulletin 15, we have about 40 plus cameras that are out and about to be installed. And then some of the recent projects where we've actually won. We have a couple in District 6. Both of those are adaptive projects. One is with SureTrack and the other is with the Econoline eDaptive system. And then in District 12 as well, there's another adaptive project where there's 7 cameras going out as well for that. So those are some of the recent project examples. We do want to challenge. We want to be challenged by all of those different projects that you're looking at and all of those edge cases. We'd love to hear about the types of projects you have, and maybe you're not sure if there's something ready that's available on the market today to tackle some of these things, but I can almost guarantee you our 100 plus software engineers that we have working in-house in Miovision have probably tried to do something very similar. And we're happy to push those boundaries of the hardware and see if there's any projects that we can help support that are maybe not so traditional in the sense of getting detection or counts or communications or looking at supporting adaptive traffic technology. So I'd urge you to please contact ourselves or our distributors. And with that, maybe we can turn things over to Scott and Ammon in terms of just why they chose Miovision. Scott, Ammon, if you guys would like to jump in.
Sure. Well, for us, when we first started talking to Miovision, we asked ourselves, what does it offer to us? So single camera detection systems have really started to take over in Ohio. We've got more and more of those going, and in Pennsylvania, we're starting to see as well. We didn't have an offering, and this gave us an excellent opportunity to add something to our detection portfolio. So another nice thing about the Miovision is it's starting to give us an ability to do the smart cities capabilities. Collecting the data, providing some safety analytics and stuff like that is all stuff that's going to add up and help cities meet their smart city criteria within the next couple of years. And Miovision's there and ready to go. So another thing that we liked about it is that it offers an opportunity to get both communication and detection to certain intersections with just one solution. So cutting the cost down, adding some value to our customers during projects and that. So we didn't have that ability with any other detection that we had right now. So those are a few of the things that really stuck out for us.
Yeah, those are all good things. We like the camera system with the communication as well. For signal control products, Miovision really stood out as a motivated traffic company willing to provide support both specific to the customer and with market-driven solutions. Because Pennsylvania is a little bit different of a state. So Miovision really demonstrated their flexibility in coming in here to meet the needs of the customers while also given a number of opportunities for the customers to grow into the equipment that they'll be investing in. So that was number one for us. So.
Good. Yeah, I guess maybe the next question, how does Miovision differ from traditional video detection systems? Scott, Emin, you want to maybe take that one?
Yeah, and for signal control products, support and end product satisfaction is vital. We want the end user, the municipality, as well as the driving public to be happy with the equipment they've invested in. So, that's with Miovision, something we felt confident that that you guys and the products were of the caliber we could stand behind. And with that being said, so Miovision, a data company, it seemed to work well for them in becoming manufacturers of detection, because if data isn't accurate, it's not worth very much. And so the cameras that they were using, they modified, and now we have them out on the street. And that's definitely something for this part of Pennsylvania. We look forward to the ability to use one camera for some of that older infrastructure and a historic downtown. One camera able to get every approach. We can fit that in some of the smaller conduits out there. And then the AI that Miovision employs is from, the foundation is from their data service. So that really just, we like to see the accuracy of that, because the detection's not worth very much if it's not accurate either, just like the data. So yeah, again, lots of room to grow into with the communication, and then the ability to do, ped detection, red light running, anything like that. We're happy to let municipalities know that they've now have that ability. And I think once the word gets out, MPOs and planners and engineers, folks like that will really find a lot of use out of that.
Yeah, and from our perspective also, having the ability to offer SPM, signal performance measures, that the customers can use to help make their intersections more efficient is critical here. Typically, if you're going to get SPMs only when you have a central system, and a lot of the smaller cities, the smaller number of intersection cities, just couldn't afford to either put in a central system or even operate it. So this gives us an ability with a one camera detection system to go in there, provide that information to the cities, and allow them to use it to make their intersections much more efficient. And then also with the safety data, that's paramount to helping the cities make the necessary changes at intersections to both meet their safety goals and increase their overall safety of both pedestrians and vehicles. So, looking at it from our perspective, the data acquisition is just critical as we move forward more and more into smart cities and in that direction. So, those were all things that we really looked forward to when moving over to Miovision.
Yeah, and just to one last thing there too, the flexibility, again, that's great that Miovision is so open and able to collaborate there, because for instance, in Pennsylvania, there's different systems, and the ability to work well with our Econolite adaptive system, and then other systems that municipalities might already have installed, or the UCC and stuff like that. So that's what we're really happy about with Miovision as well.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Eamon. Thanks, Scott. We do actually have another couple of questions that came in as well. One of those was asking about if the system can leverage existing communications and on-premise data processing. So yeah, just quickly, the answers are yes, we can leverage your existing communications network, whether that's fiber, existing radio comms, whatever that is. We're happy to leverage that. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
I guess with data processing, not quite sure if you meant, Miovision does their own data processing, but we're also able to use the data for other systems as well. Miovision, again, very flexible. So without more details, I don't know on that question. So.
Oh yes, maybe referring to on-premise data processing in terms of processing the actual actuation of the signals. Yeah, that is all done in the cabinet with the SmartLink and the SmartSense device controlling that information and pushing it directly to the controller. There's no link between the cloud before it actually happens at the cabinet. At the cabinet there. So maybe that clarifies that portion too. There was a couple more. Question about does Miovision have upstream or advanced detection? So yeah, currently we don't have an upstream or advanced detection solution, but we certainly can integrate with whatever upstream or advanced detection is out there. So that's
Carl,
yeah,
we can do peer-to-peer as a version of upstream detection. You know, if you have well, you should have communications, but you can, especially with the Econolink controllers, we can peer-to-peer. So, you know, if the intersections are close enough, I've heard anything between, you know, 400 to 600 feet or so, we can actually just let the downstream controller know that you're going to have incoming traffic there. So.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point, Eamon. I know Miovision will be launching a advanced or upstream solution as well, but that's a bit further down the road.
But that would serve as advanced detection if you needed it. So
great. And then it looks like most of the other questions are around pricing, and how does that work with recurring fees and whatnot. Maybe Emma and Scott, I can let you kind of answer those, and you can talk about the different kind of options we have there.
Sure. Well, I know for PA, I mean, we can adjust the packages if you need to do, you know, an all in one transaction, or, you know, we have to be flexible in Pennsylvania. I'm sure you can expand on that, Scott.
Yeah, we're flexible. We'll work with our customers like we do on every other project. So we'll make sure it's cost competitive and everything else. So I do have a question that came in from one of my customers on a text. So he says he's having a problem for some reason. He can't do the chat, but he asked me how far back can a single camera go versus from the stop bar. So he wasn't 100% clear on that. So I don't know, Carl, you want to take that and run with it a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So typically it is relevant to the amount of height that we do have at the intersection. So typically we recommend to mount around 30 feet high. If that's either on a signal pole or on a mast arm with an extension. So typically from about 30 feet high, we can get to about 150 feet to that stop bar. We do like to be a bit beyond the stop bar though, so we can see a couple lengths of vehicles as they're piling up and queuing up. So typically, as long as the stop bar is around 150 feet from mount height at about 30 feet, then we have a good idea that we can use a single camera to support that intersection. And then if we're pushing beyond you know, 175 feet, then we would typically like to have a second camera placed on the diagonal so that we can better detect those movements and make sure that we're detecting enough of the approach and not just, you know, one vehicle at the stop bar, for instance.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like there was another one asking about the PennDOT approval. If you want to pull up that, if you could pull up that slide again.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's see if I can go up to, yes. So I guess our approval technically was on March 24th. And then this is our code name, and the I think this is the COA number. So MIO001P. And this was a full, I guess, provisional approval, which, as I understand, that's kind of the top end of the approval chain on Bulletin 15. Scott, I'm not sure. I think that's your understanding as well.
That's typically about as high as we've gotten when we send anything for approval is the. Yeah, but we really haven't got much farther than that.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder, any others come in?
Yeah, we see one. Did you say that there's the ability to collect traffic count data? So there's multiple abilities there. Carl can give you a little bit of options.
Yeah, sure. So we totally can collect true turning movement counts. Those would be 24/7 and multimodal in nature. So we do provide classifications on bus, single unit truck, articulated truck, light vehicles. We do have pedestrians and cyclists as well included in those counts. And those would be true turning movement counts. And there have been a number of deployments that have put us not specifically at an intersection as well. So we do act as like a permanent count station, not necessarily at the intersection. So whether it's further up mid-block or whether it's on a rural road, looking at specific trails like bike and pedestrian trails, we have supported deployments where we've put out for a permanent count station, not specifically at an intersection as well. I think that was pretty much it from the questions I can see. Yeah, I think unless Scott, anyone's texting you again.
No,
Yeah.
no, that was the only text I got, but apparently they weren't able to figure out how to do the chat. So, but I think we answered the question for them. So, no, I'm good.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess that kind of concludes the Q&A roundtable. I'm just going to put up our contact info here. Again, Pathmaster. Oh, sorry.
Looks like one came in. Can you explain a bit more about the passive PED detection?
Yeah, for sure. So the passive pedestrian detection is something that we're currently exploring with a number of pilots that we have. We have had a couple adaptive deployments where we have executed this as well, and that is in production. So Miovision, because we have the ability to uniquely identify pedestrians and cyclists and all these different modes of transportation, if you're interested in that, we do have the ability to provide that as a pilot, or as something, if you're comfortable with the way it's working, we can roll that out as we've done before. Typically, we're limited to the number of approaches that we can provide that information for. So if there's a need to have video detection on, say, 4 or 5 approaches, that's where we'll have to possibly sacrifice one approach to focus on pedestrian detection. But it does work really well when there's a dedicated pedestrian crosswalk, for instance, or there's a hawk signal or something like that, where you have a dedicated crosswalk that you're interested in actuating for pedestrian detection. And we do have a couple of those around. I think there's one actually in the state as well. So yeah, any more questions on that, please feel free to contact us.
Hey, Carl, I just wanted to mention also, for any of you guys who've worked with Pathmaster in the past, and I'm sure Signal Control does the same thing, we have a fantastic demo program set up with both ourselves and Miovision. So if you guys would like to look at a demo or do something like that, we can put it out there for 60 or 90 days, let you guys look at it, test it out, try it, see if you like it, and then you make a decision after that. But I just want to make sure that people knew that we've got a great program for that, and it's a good opportunity to try some new technology and see what it can do for your city.
Certainly.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess here's our contact info for those of you on the line. We really appreciate your time today and hope everyone's doing well. And if any other questions come up, please shoot them through to us. Again, thank you so much, and we really look forward to working together with you on projects and hopefully pushing the bounds on some of these types of things that we can take care of and build future products together.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Everyone have a
everybody.
good day.
All right.